Well, guess who we're talking about today? Actually, I want to say a couple of things before I get started. Melinda and I go back 35 years, I think now. And the one gentleman she talks about as her mentor, Chris Chenoweth, is a gentleman that we know well as well. We used to do positive, what? Thank you. Positive Christianity cruises together. And he would lead a group. They'd all be unity-based, people from all over the world. We'd had anywhere from, 75 to 200 people that would gather. And Len begged me for years to go on a cruise, and I said, there's no way. I said, if I don't see land, I'm not getting on a ship. And then finally convinced me. I thought, well, if I'm going to die, I want to die with these people. So I ended up going on the cruise, and now I can't stand not being on one. Anyway, the point being is, when Melinda and I used to talk, especially with Chris, I was really into the interfaith aspect of studies. I got an opportunity. I found a website years ago that started in the early days of interfaith that started teaching each one of the faiths and the beliefs, and I started following them and getting emails. And it ended up that they offered an opportunity to start a school there. So I attended 4 years of 13 religions consistently. The biggest thing about it was online. We had to get the books they told us to read. We had to take the test. We had to do the homework and so forth. Once we completed a religion, we were told to go find it out in the community and have them teach you everything they know. So I'll get into that a little bit more. But I do want to talk about two things, and I know Melinda's brought this up, and I just want to kind of touch on it some more. So today it's about the middle way, which is Buddha, and then also radical acceptance and peace. There is a book that Nancy Cox has been leading us through on Monday evenings called Radical Acceptance. If you've not read that book, it will wake you up to things you could never imagine. So let me begin with the story about a man who searched for happiness everywhere. And I know you've heard this, but act as if you've never heard it before. That man was Buddha. Before he became Buddha, he was a prince who lived surrounded by luxury. His father tried to protect him from all suffering, so he lived among pleasure, comfort, music, and beauty. He was hidden in the castle the whole time. The child knew nothing more than absolute gorgeousness. But one day he decided to step out of his home, and he encountered something that changed his life forever. Do you know what it is? He saw life as it really was. He saw old age, he saw sickness, he saw death, which he never even imagined before. And he realized something very profound. No matter how comfortable life becomes, suffering is still part of the human experience. So he left the palace to search for a way to overcome suffering. The first extreme he went through, at first he believed that freedom must come from total self-denial. He practiced extreme it says asceticism. Sorry about that. I'm mutilating it. But what that means is he barely ate. He pushed his body to the edge of death. He totally let go of everything. But after years of this, he realized something important. Pain and deprivation did not lead to wisdom in any way. They were simply another form of suffering. So one day he remembers a peaceful moment from a childhood he had when he simply went sitting quietly under a tree. Do you remember doing that as a kid? I remember having one of those round tubular swings. You remember the round plastic swings on the rope? And I lived on that thing forever. There was no struggle, just calm awareness. This memory helped him understand something important. Truth was not found in extreme pleasure, but it was also not found in extreme self-denial. Instead, he discovered what Buddhism calls the middle way. It's a path balance. It's not too tight, it's not too loose. It's like a string on a musical instrument. If the string is too tight, it breaks. If it's too loose, it makes no music at all. But when the tension is balanced, beautiful, look at me, it's balanced, it plays beautiful music. So, we look at the middle way, and I'll get into that a little bit further, but we also have what we call radical acceptance. But even when we live with balance, life still brings pain, does it not? I mean, we could have peaceful days and glorious days and some days that are off, but we still have those days that are nice. People we love get sick. We lose things we care about. Plans fall apart. But Buddhism teaches that suffering exists, but much of our suffering comes not from pain itself, but from resisting reality. Can anybody relate to that? This is where radical acceptance becomes important. Radical acceptance means acknowledging reality exactly as it is, just as it is. I woke up this morning, I was anxious. That's okay. I woke up this morning, my hands are cold, my feet are freezing because I'm anxious. That's okay. I was nervous about this morning. That's okay. I remembered to breathe. I remembered to be grateful. I remembered to pray. It's all okay. Radical acceptance is not approving of it, not necessarily liking it, but simply saying, this is what is happening right now. How beautiful would that be to be able to just breathe in and say, okay, I'm going through a rough time. That's just the way it is right now, and I'm okay. When we stop fighting reality, we free up energy to respond with wisdom. And here's another story of an amazing woman. Her name is Kisa Gotami. It's a very powerful story about a grieving mother. Her young child died, and she was heartbroken. Unable to accept the loss, she carried the child's body from house to house, asking for medicine to bring him back to life. Someone sent her to Buddha. He told her he could help, but first she must bring home a mustard seed from a home where no one had ever died. So she went from door to door. But every family had their own story of loss. A father, a sister, a grandparent. Gradually she realized something. Suffering is part of being human. In that moment, she began to accept what had happened. Her pain didn't disappear, but her struggle against reality softened. And that acceptance opened the door for her healing. So, before I go on, I wanted to kind of lighten the load a little bit. I know it's a little heavy. I want to put some humor in here, and so I'm going to tell on myself. Some of you have heard this, so act as if you haven't heard it before. In my training as an interfaith minister, again, as I said, after classes and such, we would have to go find this particular faith out in the community and do what we could to have them teach us. So Len and I went to this Thai restaurant one day, and it just so happened there was a bulletin in the window, and they were going to robe the young Buddhist. So 12-year-olds and younger that have declared they want to become a Buddhist monk. And so they were going to shave their little heads and put robes on them. And so I looked at Len and said, oh my gosh, we need to go over there and check it out. So we go. And me and my excitement, we pull up in the parking lot, and the monks are in their orange robes, and they're hammering and working around the temple. And I get out of the car and go, here I am. And they ignored me. So I stood there a minute, and Len kind of said, you might need to be quiet. And I tried, but it ended up we connected. And so we became a part of the Buddhist temple there. So I had been attending meditation for probably 6 months, and the head monk called me in, and he said, "How would you like to go to Thailand?" And I just laughed and said, "Sure, I'll go to Thailand." And I'm thinking money and flight and home and all this other stuff. I ended up going to Thailand for 6 weeks and studied and meditated with the monks in the mountains of Chiang Mai. Now, once we got there, of course, I brought 3 suitcases, my phone, my iPad, my everything, and so I could stay in touch with my beloved, and they took it all away from us. I knew nothing about middle way. So it ends up, they told us to go to the suitcases, get what you absolutely need out of there, and then we're taking the suitcases. And we're taking your phone and we're taking your iPad. And of course, there's this immediate panic in me. What do you mean you're taking it? What do you mean you can't take it? Yes, we can. And they hid it from us. So the first thing we learned was how to fold our clothing that it would fit in a box this big. And it was what we had. And so our daily routine was, we'd get up at 4:30 in the morning, we would meditate for an hour and a half, then we would eat breakfast for the monks. Now, one thing you need to understand in the tradition of the Buddhists, of the monks, women can't touch the men. So when we offered the monks food, they would lay a cloth out on the table, you would place it on the cloth, and they'd pull it into them, and they would eat. So everything was about the monks being taken care of first. Now, monks give 274 precepts up. I gave up 5. One was not eating dinner. So this is this understanding of meditation. It is so important to them that you learn meditation to become at peace and become part of that middle way and that radical acceptance. So we slept on boards, literally, had a block for a pillow. It was humid as you know what in Thailand. And the beauty of it is the community would offer food for the monks and the guests. So breakfast was a pot of boiled water with the whole fish in it, headed, eyes, and all. And then next to that would be a platter of vegetables and a platter of fruit. Now, I lost 12, so I was quite happy. I looked at that fish and I moved on. So anyway, it was really sweet, though, and I was having a hard time. Let me just say that. I was having a very hard time. I was the only American there out of 19 people. We had China, Japan, England, and a couple other countries. I can't remember off the top of my head. But our goal was, we meditated for an hour and a half, had breakfast with the monks, cleaned up, meditated another hour and a half. Then we had chores. My chore was to clean the clothes of the 14 women that were there. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? So I washed clothes for 14 women with one tiny little washer, and then I had to hang clothes up, and I'd never done that before. So I'm out there hanging clothes up, and then I had to take them down and fold them a proper way and lay them on their beds for each one of them. Once that was done, we did lunch for the monks, and we ate lunch. And then after that, we meditated again, and we got a break for 30 minutes, and then we'd meditate again, and then we'd meditate again, and then we'd meditate again. So that was my daily routine for 6 weeks. I had a meltdown one day, and this sweet little Chinese lady, this lady from China, she couldn't speak English, but when we started in Bangkok and we went to Chiang Mai on a bus, and I'm sitting there and I'm sobbing. I haven't slept. If I don't get my sleep, man, you might as well hang it up. And I hadn't slept. I hadn't talked to Len. I had no connection. I was feeling, I can't even tell you what I was feeling. Every feeling I probably had never allowed myself to feel before. And this little lady comes and sits down, and she throws her arm around me and goes, "Where's my Janet? I need my Janet." And so we would support each other. And the part that fascinated me the most was if one individual was going through a hard time, all the women gathered together and supported and helped that one person. Now, ladies, I don't know if you've been to spiritual retreats before with the church-going women, but they're not always like that. I mean, these women were amazing. We communicated with each other without being able to speak the same language. We just knew we were able to communicate. So, toilets, we had to flush with a bucket of water. There was no water, and showers were in the stall where the toilet was. It was an amazing experience, to say the least. 16 hours flying to Japan, 3-hour layover, 6 hours to Thailand. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I learned more from those monks that I will carry with me forever, which really gave me the desire and the love. I almost wanted to walk with the monks that went the 23,000 miles, if you know what I'm talking about, that left Fort Worth and went to Washington, D.C. I now meditate at that temple. They unlock their doors at 7 in the morning, and you can go in that temple anytime you want to and sit and meditate and leave on your own. So it's been a fascinating experience. So the middle way experience is important, and it's really about teaching us how to live with balance. And balance is real important. I don't know about you, but in my years of trying to learn and grow and do things, be more authentic, and to be who I really truly wanted to be, and what I've loved and what I've learned in my process. The middle way teaches us how to live with balance, and radical acceptance teaches us how to face what we cannot control. And that's the tough one. Not being able to control, and we humans always have to control, right? Anybody in here that does not need to control? Raise your hand. Together they help us move through life with wisdom and compassion. I have devoted my studies and my time with the Buddhist monks more than I have the other religions, not because I wanted to, but it's how it's worked out. And it's been an amazing experience to have to look at myself and see what I need to change and what I need to handle in regards to being present and being here for others, because I find that's real important. Meditation is really good if you're willing. I challenged myself for a while. I got into it for many years, and then I stopped doing it for some reason. And I'm doing it again, and I can't believe the noise I have going on in my head once again. It's a challenge, but a blessing if you're willing to give it a shot. And I love what Melinda always talks about. That's what I love about her and her wisdom and her knowledge of all the different faiths and what she shares with us in regards to the different ways of learning. Our way is not the only way. And if we're willing to learn through somebody else or another diversity, it's amazing that what we realize is that we all are one, and that we're all working towards the same thing. We really do want the same exact thing, whether it seems like it today or not with what's going on. So, again, together they help us move through life with wisdom and compassion. So I'm going to take you through a short guided meditation. But before I do that, I'd like to say, Buddha's teaching reminds us that peace doesn't come from controlling everything in life. It comes from meeting life with balance, clarity, and acceptance. And that is the heart of the middle way. So, if you're willing, I'm going to take you through one of the monks' meditations. So if you're willing to uncross your legs, put your feet on the ground, unload your laps, wake up if you need to. Take a slow breath in. And if you feel comfortable, gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. And take a slow breath out. Take another slow breath in. And a slow breath out. And let your body settle. Let your shoulders relax. Anywhere you're tightened up, just breathe into that area and let it go. Relax as much as possible. Feel the natural rhythm of your breathing. Just feel it as you breathe in and as you breathe out. You don't have to control it, just notice it. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Now notice whatever is present in your experience right now. Just notice it. Maybe it's calm. Maybe it's restlessness. Maybe it's the thoughts moving quickly. Instead of trying to change anything, simply acknowledge it. Just say thank you and let it move on. Now silently say to yourself, right now, this is what is here. Right now, this is what is here. If a thought appears, notice it. If a feeling appears, notice it. Let it be there without pushing it away. Just be with it. This is the beginning of radical acceptance. Now bring gentle attention back to your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Balanced. Not forcing, not resisting, just allowing. Continue to do that for just a few minutes. Just be aware. Again, not forcing, not resisting, just allowing. And as I said before, the Buddha's teaching reminds us that peace doesn't come from controlling everything in life. It comes from meeting life with balance, clarity, and acceptance. That is the heart of the middle way. Take one more slow breath. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. This is the heart of the middle way. Thank you.